that footage, and here we are with Chris Anthony, the guy you just saw in all that footage. So Chris, this is something, so you've been in 27 Warren Miller films, so you are no stranger to ski films, but this is completely different. This is a passion project of yours that you've been working on for a really long time.
Well, this story came across me about 4 years ago. And then I kept trying to pitch on to anybody else because I didn't feel like I had the full package, the full skill set to put this together. This is a story about the 10th Mountain Division, but it is one that hasn't been told. It took place June 3rd, 1945. Germany surrendered May 1945. And what happened was Yugoslavia invaded over those mountains in May 1945, and the 10th was called on one more action to push Yugoslavia back over those mountains. And in the midst of that, they decided to have this ski race on this mountain called Mount Mangart that's now in Slovenia. And it's celebrated over there, but nowhere is it documented in our history over here. So the story kept falling back into my lap, and I've decided to finally, you know what, I'm going to try to pull this off on my own. And I'm going to do it through my nonprofit as an educational tool. Yeah. So it's definitely a not-for-profit documentary, and my goal is to have it done by 2020, which will be the 75th anniversary of that race. But that right there was the most important part to recreate or try to make happen, and somehow it happened so close to the date, 73 years later, with the complete cooperation of the Slovenian mountain troops. And that whole group, none of them barely speak any English, and somehow all of them came together on that day with me and went up there, and we managed to pull it together. Yeah, and we collected gear from 1940 for them to ski on, and just tried to capture shots of the race. So somehow it all happened that day. So now I can move forward and make this documentary happen.
That's really exciting. And just for for people that are watching us online, or they're just kind of joining the Vail Valley, the 10th Mountain Division, it's a huge history of the Vail Valley. That the members of the 10th Mountain Division are who ultimately founded Vail, and some of them were potentially in this race.
So in that race, there was the 86th and 87th of the 10th Mountain. There was the 85th, 86th, and 87th. And the 86th and 87th were there, which was made up of some of the best skiers. And 73 of those guys actually entered this race. There was like 500 of them up watching. If you could see where this race was, it's pretty remarkable that they got up there in 1940. Of course, they had equipment that could go anywhere. But it took us a while to get up there. And then 73 raced in the race, 23 finished. The gentleman that won, Walter Prager, was actually in 1939 the world champion. He was from Switzerland, but came to the United States and became an American citizen, then joined the 10th Mountain Division and trained the troops, and then went back and fought bravely. And he actually became a famous Dartmouth ski coach. Second place was another famous person from Aspen, Steve Knowlton, one of the great creators of Aspen and highly involved there. And it just unbelievable, because these guys had such a magnificent impact on our ski industry here in the United States, and the stories about them just keep coming in. But this one I just thought was so magical because it involved one of the few times that they actually skied while they were in Europe.
Right, beyond just fighting. Okay, so of course there's just never enough time to talk to you about all your stories. Now, if people want to support your effort in creating the rest of this documentary, we've got those shots now. Now we got to develop the rest of the story. How do they do that?
They can definitely donate. It's a tax-deductible donation, and anybody that donates, you're going to be in the credits and everything of the film, and we'll do a red carpet thing for those donors. But they can go to my website, chrisanthony.com. Go under the Youth Project. There is a PayPal button there under chrisanthony.com, or email me at chris@chrisanthony.com, and I'll give you the directions. And it's a tax-deductible donation, and you can be part of this film.
Love it. Well, thank you for bringing the latest progress, and always a pleasure to talk to you here on the show.
Thank you.
So we are going to take a break. Coming up, we have another look at what's going on with that local weather forecast. Finally, some moisture in the forecast. We'll be right back.